Hello, welcome to Learn English, episode 164, Nuti Arvati. Now, England, we are having good weather. How is your weather in Europe, in France, in Germany, Denmark, Italy, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland? We got viewers all over Europe. How is the weather in your country? Now, I welcome our Australian friends and New Zealand friends. Especially for you, I'm trying to show 2 episodes that I did on Australia after my visit last year. If you have missed it, you got another chance to watch it. Now, today, I thought I'll mention the 5 skills to learn English. When you teach English in this country, we have in mind 5 basic skills. One is listening. I've already touched on listening. Listening is a skill. Some of you have it naturally, some don't. If you don't, then we have to teach you how to listen. Make sure that you listen by answering questions that we ask you. If you don't listen, you can't answer. The second skill is speech. Speaking. Speech after listening. You start talking. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. You talk. When you're a learner, people will accept. But when you have finished learning, then there's no excuse for making mistakes. Speech. Reading. Slowly start reading. Now children look at the picture and they say what they see. That is look and say method. Then we start teaching the sounds. That's called phonics. Phonics, the sound that each letter makes. Every letter has a sound. So we teach them the sounds so that they can put together and find reading easy. With reading, you start writing your name, writing little words, making the sound and reading, they go together. And the last skill that we teach or concentrate on spelling. Most of the words in English are sound-based. K, O, T, cot. B, B, E, D, bed. P, I is sounding as I. P, in, pin. So most of the words are, you can, if you know the sounds, you can read. But there are certain rules that must be followed when you do spellings in certain words, and almost you have to memorize the rule. The rule is, these are the vowels. Can you say the vowels again? A, E, I, O, U. That's the name of these vowels. What sounds do they make? A. E for egg. I told you I makes a I sound very often. O is O. It's the same. U makes a under. Under. Up. A sound. So A, E, I, O, U are the vowels. In Tamil, you have uyiralithu. So in English, we have the vowels. Without the vowels, you can't make a word. So uyiralithukkal is important. Now, when you add suffix, like the end of the word, you add certain suffixes. Then the spelling changes. That's when you use this rule. Other than A, E, I, O, U, all the others are consonants. Please write it down. B, B, C, K, D, D. These are all consonants, except these 5 letters. They are all consonants. So the rule is, if you find a word with one vowel and a single consonant, if you find a word with one vowel followed by a single consonant, when you are adding a suffix, that changes. Now, if you listen to this very carefully, you'll understand the rule. Like begin. Begin has a single consonant. N is a consonant. It's not a vowel, therefore it's a consonant. In front of N, which is a consonant, we got I, which is a vowel. So in such cases, you double the consonant. Some children worry about it. They don't know when to double. You don't go on doubling all the letters. So if you're adding a suffix, which is the end of the word, like begin becomes beginner, because N is a single consonant with a single vowel in front, you got to double the consonant. So begin, n, then you put the suffix a. So begin becomes beginner, and you have two N's for that. So you got to learn that rule. A single consonant and a single vowel. The last two letters should be a single vowel and a single consonant, ending with a single consonant. You double that consonant. So now, if you remember that, if you go through it over and over again, a single consonant, a single vowel. Single vowel followed by single consonant, double the consonant, that's all. Begin, beginner. Travel. Now, travel, that means you're going from place to place. Travel. Now, if you add the suffix e, then what does it become? You put a L here, and it becomes traveler. You have to double the L. You have to double the L, and travel becomes traveler. You add the suffix e. So traveler, you always must double the L when you spell the word traveler. Why? Because I told you, a single consonant preceded by a vowel, or a single vowel followed by a single consonant, which is the last letter, then you have to double that letter. So when you spell traveler, you always add another extra L. Control. What does control mean? You control the whole school. You control the whole business. Ningadan poruppu, adhiharam. Control it. So how does a controller come in here? The last letter is a consonant. The letter before the consonant is a vowel, O. So we have to add another L before you write a. So if you're going to write controller, traffic controller, traffic controller. So if you're going to write controller there, if you want to write controller, you spell with a double L. So some children have asked me, is there a rule for doubling a consonant? Yes, there are rules. So you have to follow the rules. If it ends with a vowel, if it ends with a consonant, and a vowel is before that, single vowel, then you have to double it. Controller. So suffix. When you add the suffix at the end of the words to change the meaning, change the word, then you have to make some changes by doubling the consonant. Let's look at this. Now forgot. Forgot. What does that mean? Maradi. Marandu poyitten, past tense. But if you say somebody had forgot, had forgotten, you have to add the suffix, end. In front it's called prefix, At the end, if you add some letters, it's called suffix. So the suffix is forgotten. You have to add en. Now you already got forgot. You have to double the T. You have to double it. Then put the suffix n. So that's where the double T comes. If you spell forgotten with one T, we'll mark it wrong in English. Or it will be an English mistake. If you're writing a letter or whatever, be careful with the spelling. Always double check. But the rules are easy to remember once you know the rule. Consonant, last single consonant, normally doubles if there's a vowel in front. Forbid. What is the meaning of forbid? Do you know what forbid means? You're not allowed. You're banned. Shoplifters are forbidden to come to that shop. Petrol stations forbid thieves who come and fill their cars with petrol and run away. If they are caught, they'll be given a warning perhaps, and they'll be told, you're forbidden to come into this petrol station. It doesn't mean you go to another station and fill it and do the same mistake, because everything is recorded. Now, forbid, tadai. Forbidden, you write a prefix n here, but before you add, you must remember the rule in spelling. The D is a single consonant. So you write another D and then E, N. En is a prefix, suffix. En is a suffix. So now that you know the rules, remember how to spell correctly. Remember when you double the words. Now let's go through this bit first. The 5 skills that one has to learn for beginners who come to learn English to England. The other day I had a call from Switzerland. They're coming to England to learn English, and they wanted to know about the schools and how to begin to learn English, proper English in the sense they can, because they're learning French as a first language. So listening is the most important skill. Speech, spoken English. If you go to a doctor, at least if you can speak a little English, you can explain, or you have to take an interpreter or translator. Reading. Just take little books to start with. If you are not reading, if you can't read English, take little books first, children's book, or children start to read by looking at lots and lots of books. It can be a picture with one sentence. Don't buy big books. Straight away don't go and buy Shakespeare or some big literature. All they need is some nursery rhyme books or some books specially written for beginners. Stories, Red Riding Hood, with a picture and a sentence. So read the story to the child over and over again. Now this must happen before you start them and sending them to school. Please teach them something about looking at books, understanding the story, read them all the little stories, Little Red Riding Hood. I'll give you a list in one lesson, and those books must be bought, and show them the picture, and you read it as well. If you don't know, it doesn't matter. You read it, ask somebody who knows the story, and then start them on it. So you'll find the children taking the book by themselves and looking at the picture and just telling the story. Doesn't matter. That's okay. Look and say method is a start. Then we teach them the phonics. Phonics are the sounds. That's the one I'm talking about. Every letter of the English alphabet has a sound. So you have to learn the sounds to read big words. You can't memorize all the words. So you've got to use the sounds to read big words. Now let's go through this again. Reading. Then comes writing. Start by teaching them to write their names, but not all the letters in capital. Teachers have to undo that mistake when they go to school. Nobody likes that. The first letter of their name should be capital. If your child's name is, I'll take an easy name, Sam, that is capital. First letter of a proper noun should always be capital. A. Now those two together will make Sa. And then M. Now you notice I've done simple letters. That's the way to write. If you write capital letters, which a lot of people do, that's wrong. Only certain, at the beginning of the sentence you have a capital letter of that word, one letter. Letter and that, எழுத்து, சொல் என்றால் word. So one letter is only capital. You don't write all of it in capital. If you didn't know, then learn it today. Okay? By listening very carefully, you have learned what words need doubling. I shall continue with that next week. Until then, goodbye.